I will say it up front. I don't own a copy of Zooma. I had the chance to get it a gazillion years ago at the record store, but I had a tight budget, and it was either Jones or a Yes record. It was a tough call, but now I know I wasn't ready, nor had the right mindset to really appreciate John Paul Jones' solo career, past the upfront virtuoso stuff 70s progressive rock had to offer. One of the first things I wrote down while working on this Led Zeppelin 1990 series was, remember Zooma. Revisiting the album has been gratifying to say the least. After the daunting and sometimes tedious task of going through so many Page and Plant shows with the lesser Jones on bass, I couldn't help but be in awe of John Baldwin, the man, the living legend, the musician's musician. I'm still trying to figure out the mainstream worship of Robert Plant and Jimmy Page above Jones's authenticity. It was during a Friday evening visit to a record fair in 2021 where I found a copy of The Thunder Thief. I bought it without hesitation, got home to crank up the speakers and enjoyed the many layers of Jones's vision. As someone who owns 2 vinyl copies of Scream for Help and is obsessed with Into the Outdoor, this episode feels like full circle of what maybe was the purpose of this 90s series for me. A way of honoring a musician's career that has been criminally underrated when compared to many of his peers. Where Jimmy Page has promised a follow-up album since 1988, Jones took action. Both famous and unknown at the same time, he represents hope for many of us musicians looking for a big break or simply enjoying the music for what it is, having to face the shaming tactics of a sick society that tends to forget phone numbers, praises pretentious characters, and populist agendas. This is a look into the studio magic of John Bonham's sidekick, the man who could play any instrument and make it groove. A man who doesn't go for personal vendettas against David Coverdale, nor rockstar gibberish to sell magazines. What you see is what you get. A musician that could have turned Walking into Clarksville into a great record, and add the proper lead into unleaded. This is the making of Zooma.
Also, thank you, my friends, for finally remembering my phone number. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Was the exclusion of John Paul Jones an obvious sort of...
Shut up. No. An obvious. Oh, it don't matter. It's just that Jonesy was busy and we're busy.
It's getting close. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 1999.
Michael Jordan has always said he'll leave basketball while he's still on top. He's always said he'll be remembered not for endorsements or money, but for what he did on the court. And today, as usual, Michael Jordan's game plan was spot on. Everybody knew what Jordan was going to say when he called a press conference in Chicago. Basketball's greatest game was over.
I am here to announce my retirement from the game of basketball.
The reaction, of course, was quite amazing. Nike lost $1 billion in a flash, and sports fans worldwide lost a hero.
Thank you for gracing our court.
Well, this is a day that I think I hoped would never come.
In my life, I don't know that I ever saw another athlete with such a remarkable set of qualities of mind, body, and spirit.
Remember, Jordan has quit before to go and play baseball, but this time it was no surprise. So what happens without him? Only time will tell. But what we do know is this: what happened with him is unlikely to ever happen again.
Michael, thank you.
1999, the year of panicking over Y2K and downloading music via the brand new Napster platform. A decade finale of Woodstock 99's violence overshadowing the original vibes of peace and love. 14 years later, after his first solo excursion in the music industry and an impressive collaboration catalog in the 90s, John Paul Jones was back in the public eye with his first official debut solo album by the name of Zooma. Let's take a look at the definition for the word Zooma. The sound of John Paul Jones hitting a bass string with a pick. Zooma could also be interpreted as a British pronunciation of Zoomer, which is a member of Generation Z born in the 1990s, early 21st century. Zoomers are quite familiar with the use of digital technology. Zooma is an instrumental adventure into progressive rock, heavy funk rhythms, and demented string riddles. It came out of nowhere through Discipline Global Mobile, yes, Robert Fripp's record label, with a catalog of works by King Crimson, Adrian Belew, Bill Bruford, and the California Guitar Trio. John Paul Jones was once again light years ahead in the artistic realms as opposed to Page and Plant. I don't see walking into Clarksville making it to Robert Fripp's exquisite record label. The 10-track album Zooma was recorded throughout 1999 with the intention of presenting a personal snapshot of Jones's compositional world. The project began with 3 heavy riffs that evolved into a collection of songs that Jones intended to take on the road as soon as possible. Zooma was designed to be played on stage, and who could blame Jonesy, who hadn't been on the road since his 1994 collaboration with Diamanda Gallas. Before I talk about the songs, let's take a look at the personnel. John Paul Jones played 10, 12, and 4-string bass here. He also programmed computer sound design patterns, played mandola, bass lap steel, electric guitar, organ, and if that wasn't enough, he wrote and conducted the string arrangements played by the London Symphony Orchestra. Drummer Pete Thomas laid his passionate grooves. You may remember him from his drum work on The Sporting Life. This explains why the rhythm tracks for Zooma sound like a fitting continuation to that 1994 record. Butthole Surfer's own Paul Leary is credited with a guitar solo here. The Chapman Stick Master himself, Trey Gunn, contributed on 2 tracks. A frequent collaborator with Robert Fripp and Crimson throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Trey Gunn is a serious monster player. John Paul Jones' wife Maureen is credited with spoken word and executive producer for Zooma. Longtime session musician Denny Fongheiser played drums and djembe, and 1 song per instrument. The album was mostly mixed and recorded by Richard Evans, whose name may sound familiar. He performed the same duty on The Sporting Life. Looking at his impressive resume, I noticed he produced Dorothy Ashby's 1968 masterpiece, Afro Harping. If you don't know this one, please check it out. It's one of the all-time jazz classics from this period. Additional engineer work was done by Brian Foraker, who assisted Yes's Union sessions, as well as Jeff Foster, a man with a vast classical music and soundtracks background, whose catalog of credits is impressive as well. Just some quick fun facts on Foster. He was assistant engineer on Gloria Estefan's album Mi Tierra from 1993. This record has none other than Jorge Casas on bass. You may remember him from the Coverdale Page album. Foster also worked with composer David Arnold on several James Bond soundtracks. Zooma's eclectic mix of contributors led to the project being recorded in both England and the United States.
As a highlight of our franchisee meeting, we have the co-founder of Pizza Hut, Mr. Frank Carney.
Recently, the retired co-founder of Pizza Hut did something surprising. He bought a Papa John's franchise.
Sorry, guys. I found a better pizza.
Today, he owns over 70 restaurants.
Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
He's got it. Try our Papa's Choice. That's a large pizza with your choice of up to 5 toppings for just $10.99.
Here's my musical review of Zooma. Track 1 bears the album's title and features Jones on 10th string bass, drummer Pete Thomas, and a guest guitar solo by Paul Leary. From the start, this song is quite reminiscent of The Sporting Life. This instrumental has Diamanda Gallas' name written all over. I may be alone on this, but I missed Diamanda's vocals on this type of material. The funky riff attack is impressive, with Jones commanding the beat while Leary goes crazy on what sounds like a strange pitch effect pedal. Track 2 has Jones on 12-string bass playing both chords in C-low frequency riffs, with Pete Thomas holding the beat steady. Jones's heavy lines sound a lot like Korn's groundbreaking chops from their first albums. Trey Gunn plays an abstract Chapman stick that creates a sense of chaos, a very good song to drive at night. Track 3 is The Smile of Your Shadow, with Jones on 12-string bass, lap steel bass, and mandola, with Denny Fongheiser on djembe. It's an intimate and mellow song that creates a harmonious landscape that floats in forever. Although a bit long for a slow instrumental, I think this is one of the best post-2007 songs Robert Plant never made. Track 4, Goose, sounds like an angry Led Zeppelin riff and outtake from The Sporting Life. Jones on 10th string bass and Pete Thomas take it away with a masterclass in rhythm, plus Jones's lap steel solo. Track 5, Bass and Drums, is one of my personal favorites to appreciate the insane bass instinct of John Paul Jones, with Denny Funkheiser on drums, adding his own flair of understanding of the groove. This track works as a great jam to plug in your guitar and play along. Track 6, B Fingers, is one of the meanest, dirtiest, and sickest riffs Jones has ever laid on tape. The 53-year-old version of John Baldwin sounds young and King Crimsonian in places. This is a lethal progressive rock track that further proves his virtuoso skills next to Pete Thomas and a fine Chapman solo by Trey Gunn. I don't recommend you playing Walking into Clarksdale after this song. Track 7, Snake Eyes, could be an indie TV show soundtrack. Jones takes both lap steel and 4-string bass on this one. The string section adds great depth to the When the Levee Breaks style of the song. This proves what Unleaded missed and Ed Shermer couldn't provide: finesse and symphonic creativity. Jones's organ solo is a killer throwback to the early days of Led Zeppelin. Although the song may seem a bit long, it's a great jam to appreciate Jones's talents as performer and arranger. He is the secret weapon Page and Plant left behind over big bucks in 1994. Check out the last minute of the song. The majestic orchestral score will make you smile and probably throw away your copy of Unleaded. Track 8, Nasumi Blues, finds John Paul Jones the bluesman showcasing his best lap steel chops like the crazy slide man he is. Listening to this cut will make you think again about the rumors of Jonesy playing the actual intro for Led Zeppelin Celebration Day. I've never heard Jimmy Page play like this, with a slide. Drummer Pete Thomas complements his string work with ease. These two know each other well. A great tribute to the past while retaining present-day musicianship. Closing track, Title, is most definite the best song from the album. From the insanely tricky riff to changing time signatures, this is progressive rock heaven, with Jones on 10-string bass leading the way for a heavy funk track that will make you headbang. Jones' aggression is one of a young musician that refuses to hide behind age. This is King Crimson meets Led Zeppelin. Title is one of my top 10 Post Led Zeppelin tracks from the 90s.
How much for the oven mitt?
39 cents.
How much for the boat?
39 cents.
How about the baby grand?
For you, 39 cents.
Right now, 39 cents is all you need to get the Taco Bell tacos you know and love. Crunchy tacos for just 39 cents every Sunday. And great tasting soft tacos for the low price of only 39 cents every Wednesday. Don't miss out.
Tacos in the bank, baby.
The concert tour for Zooma was played in a power trio format with 34 dates throughout several venues in Europe, North America, and Japan. Chapman stick Nick Beggs and drummer Terrell Bryan provided their own heavy hand attack to bring the show to life. The average setlist for the tour saw John Paul Jones perform 9 tracks from Zooma, next to many surprises. 2 songs from Scream for Help made their live debut in the ways of Spaghetti Junction and Crackback. These were quite a treat for the hardcore Post Led Zeppelin fans. You can check episode 9 from my Post Led Zeppelin 1980 series for the untold story on how this soundtrack was really made. Also on Jones's list for 1999 was his triple neck solo, echoing his famous instrument he took on the road in 1977. 6 Led Zeppelin numbers were chosen: No Quarter, Going to California, Nobody's Fault But Mine, When the Levee Breaks, Trample Underfoot, and Black Dog. 2 blues numbers, Steal Away and Jump Blues, added American roots to the virtuoso delivery. John Paul Jones was quite overwhelmed by the crazy response from fans who worshipped their musical hero.
Tomorrow. I smell the blood of an Englishman.
That was Spaghetti Junction from Scream for Help. And boy, did I. That was from a movie that went mercifully straight to video. Oh, yeah, thank you very much. You must have been one of the 120 that did. That was pretty cool. That was Hello, Philadelphia. Okay. I take your point. I really. Bring it right down now. A little romantic number here.
With great humor and a relaxed vibe, Jones had a lot of fun on stage without his Zeppelin buddies stealing any spotlight. Because of the niche type of album Zooma was, the project had a cult following. A genius like Jones can only have an appreciative crowd who was not expecting rockstar poses, but actual music. There is something very special about watching Jones perform Led Zeppelin numbers. It was an intimate setting to witness and understand just how important John Baldwin was in Zeppelin's success. The most down-to-earth member of the greatest rock and roll band was the ultimate gift for fans. Although he performed in much smaller venues than his former bandmates, those in attendance knew this was a one-of-a-kind experience, where Page and Plant was a nostalgia overdose corporate venture. Now, because nobody's perfect, there was a slight issue with Zooma in terms of business. How do you market such an album? As you guys know, I'm very much into progressive and avant-garde music, but I'm very much aware of the limits of these niche type of records. Because John Paul Jones himself was not a flashy virtuoso player like his prog rock and bass competitors, the surprise and shock effect is momentary. His magic is his musicality, but this is a tough sell even today, where people much rather consume through their eyes first. What I mean is that Jones decided to play in a very competitive market of band identities such as King Crimson, Vital Tectones, Victor Wooten, Mr. Bungle, Cardiacs, Flower Kings, and Liquid Tension Experiment, to name a few. Yes, we have the multi-instrumentalist from Led Zeppelin on stage, but unless he opened for other classic rock bands or fellow time period colleagues such as Jeff Beck, it was hard for him to break away from the enormous expectations of being the other guy next to Page and Plant. Jones remained a musical orphan since 1980 and tried to find his place away from the limelight of rock and roll. Give me another famous bass player who tried to do what Jones did with his career. Being in the same bass royalty of McCartney, Entwistle, and Squire was tough. I don't know if John Paul Jones wanted to make big bucks with Zooma, but niche bucks are like water in the desert. Finding the right circuit to get him was an uphill battle, with the changing state of music and his Zeppelin bandmates overexposing the catalog in the big rock markets. I believe playing festivals was the right way to do this. Adding a lead instrument like a violin and explore more Led Zeppelin deep cuts could have helped to reach a bigger audience. But then again, the danger of turning Jones's project into an instrumental unleaded was all too real. Let's face it, hundreds of thousands of folks went to Page and Plant out of casual Zeppelin knowledge. To be a true John Paul Jones fan, you can own a copy of Unleaded to begin with, and you should own at least 2 copies of In Through the Outdoor. Also, you must appreciate 1994's The Sporting Life, as Zooma sounds similar in places. What is a John Paul Jones fan really? Society calls us weirdos, misfits, rebels, outcasts. We are for the music first and foremost. We like dark and strange humor. We understand he was who John Bonham trusted for rhythm, telepathy, and arrangements. I understand he's not the most popular Zeppelin member, but once you understand the depth of his contributions, or face the daunting task of finding a bass player for your Zeppelin tribute band, man does it hit you in the face. He's a one-of-a-kind musician. John Paul Jones's tour for Zooma kept going into the first half of the year 2000 with 19 extra dates.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much, John, for coming here this evening. You are the first guest ever to make a special trip just to be on our show.
All the way from Washington?
Yes.
And somewhere else. I don't even remember where I was the night before.
Well, let me tell you something, my friend. We are so touched, we are considering reimbursing you for your plane ticket.
Oh, okay.
Something that's just not done on this show.
I stowed away. You don't have to bother.
Did you? Okay, good. That's great. Now, do you remember playing in this building?
No. When they did the Woodstock thing, we were down the other end of the country. We were playing the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Were you really? In
Los Angeles, yes.
Yeah. I got to ask you one question before we move on to the serious stuff. Have you ever made out to Stairway to Heaven?
Made out?
Thank you. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you. Catch your Corvo after these messages.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Because I think I forgot about this album on my Celebration Day episode talking about the years prior to the Zeppelin reunion, I want to discuss Jones's follow-up and my personal favorite from his solo career output, The Thunder Thief. He stole the thunder, alright. Jones went to the studio with the aid of his touring band, Nick Becks on Chapman stick and Turl Bryan on drums. Released on June 15, 2001, it found Jones going for more multi-instrumentalist credits. 4, 6, 10 and 12 string bass guitars, bass steel guitar, acoustic and electric guitars, mandolin, electric mandolin, piano, organ, synthesizers, koto, auto harp, ukulele and harmonica. Here's a quick overview of an album that feels more song-oriented than Zooma. Track 1 is the highlight of the record, an explosive number by the name of Leafy Meadows, with none other than Robert Fripp himself adding his insane guitar creations. This is the closest to a Led Crimson alternate universe. Track 2 carries the album title with the aggressive playfulness of King Crimson of the Discipline era, with Jones's vocals reminiscent of Gentle Giant's strange harmonies. This is not a good first stage soundtrack, but for progressive fans only. Track 3, Hold Little, is reminiscent of the Brian Eno Robert Fripp delay experiments, with a second part worthy of a Led Zeppelin jam from 1970.
Fish come out of hibernation and swim up towards the light.
Track 4, Ice Fishing at Night, features delicate piano work and introspective vocals by Jones. Although he's not a singer himself, it's heartwarming without being pretentious. Track 5, Daphne, sounds like Crackback from Scream for Help, a vibrant jam that rocks, funks and blues in a celebration of American roots.
I'm angry, angry, down to my soul. I'm angry, angry.
Track 6, Angry Angry, is for the weird fans out there. It sounds like a parody of punk I enjoy very much. Jones' angry vocals live in the same vein of Zappa, with maniac riffing behind. Does humor belong to music? I say yes it does. Don't be fooled by humor. The song rocks hard. Track 7, Down to the River to Pray, is a traditional American song with its roots in spiritual music from various regions. It's an exquisite sonic treat for the senses, with Jones showcasing his acoustic string instrument technique like the master he is. This is a worthy continuation of Led Zeppelin 4. Track 8, Shibuya Bop, is an obscene bass rundown of staccato funk. John Paul Jones' attack shines on this maze-like composition, where time signatures, displaced rhythms, and more take you into King Crimson terrains. Jones's organ solo is up there with the finest psychedelic albums from the 60s.
Darling, will you come? Let's take a holiday. We've been working hard all summer, the autumn.
Closing track Freedom Song is an unplugged session with Jones on mandolin, singing an old-school chant in an intimate setting. We could argue this is the only weak moment from the album, but conceptually, it makes sense. The Thunder Thief is a well-connected story that feels like an actual record. Where Zooma was the opening door for exploration, Jones's follow-up confirmed a solo career was more than possible, with the enormous creative power of the former Zeppelin musician. Jones went on a 26-state tour in the last 2 months of post-9/11 North America. Promoters started asking for a singer in the band to have a better chance of selling his show to a bigger audience. Fed up with these type of suggestions that grew exponentially, John Paul Jones called it quits from touring, and just like that, his solo output stopped. Despite having 2 very good albums on his hands, the business side of things got in the way of his peace of mind. The world needed more John Paul Jones, but it was not to be. His musical creations are of the highest order, and hopefully they will find new ears that want to appreciate his enormous talent. If you ever come across these albums and you don't own a copy, please buy them. Cheers to Jonesy, the greatest musician in Led Zeppelin.